recap the events of last Thursday evening at the Area 54 contest. The International Speech and Evaluation Contest last week was very exciting, and the results, we had 2 participants from our club. We had Brad Sabranki representing Canyon Park Echoes for the evaluation contest, and he did an amazing job. I really thought that he was going to take first place, to be honest with you. But for the International Speech Contest, we had our very own Dependra representing Canyon Park Echoes. And how did you fare in the competition?
I think I did all right.
And what was the result?
I came first.
Came first place. And the speech was even better than when he gave it here. It's getting better and better and better. That is a competition-winning speech for sure. So keep working on it, and we're going to be supporting you at the division level. Okay. Now we have a couple guests today. First of all, I would like, Boston, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us where you're from and how you found us?
Okay, I'm Boston Carter. I'm a research and consulting psychologist. I live in Monroe. I found you on the internet. I have to start presenting research material at conferences, so I need to learn how to do this.
This is your spot.
This is right where And the only thing better than a guest at our club meeting is a guest who brings a guest. And I would like to introduce someone who's been quite a mentor to me over the last couple of years, John File.
Yeah,
Tell us a
this
little bit
is
about yourself.
about 2.5 years in the making, right?
Yeah.
So my name's John File, Bothell native, own an insurance and real estate company, and Brooklyn is helping us lead the real estate company as well, and so we're glad to be here. You know, a friend of mine started doing this about 6 months ago as well, and heard great things about the organization. So thanks for having me.
Thanks, John. Brooklyn, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. So my name is Brooklyn Walker. I just graduated from UW this last year, UW Seattle. I'm born and raised in the Bothell area, and so I used to go to the Y here and go to the 24-hour fitness here, and I'm starting up ProStar Realtors through Keller Williams Bothell, and love it so far, and so we just want to keep working on our presentations and public speaking and all of the above as we start presenting to new homeowners and go through all of that process. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us. And without further ado, I would like to introduce to you our esteemed Toastmaster of the day, Linda Whittlesey.
Hello, thank you. Thank you so much. We have a great meeting planned today. The theme of our meeting today is marching away from March. March? Well, let me just start out on why March is kind of overlooked, is it not? Here are the months before March. July, August, listen to the rhythm. September, October, November, and then this January, October, December, then January, February, March. It's just like an ugly, unwanted stepchild. It's put in there with no respect. We'll be talking more about that later. But now I'm going to introduce our general evaluator for the day, Mr. Jorge Restrepo.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters, honorable guests. It's funny you get to know our fellow realtors in the office at a different place. We've become so darn large that, you know, I barely know people in the office already. Anyway, we have a full agenda today, and I'd like to introduce the people that are going to keep us on our toes, who are the grammarian, Mr. Trey Sherrill.
So I'm your grammarian today. One of the things that I do is I define and introduce the word of the day. The word of the day is a bloom. I didn't know that marching out of March, I didn't know that March was a bad stepchild month. I mean, I just thought it was another month. For me, it's just another month. But I don't always keep up with Linda. She's kind of a hard woman to keep up with. So The word is abloom, it means flowery, and Toastmasters are always so abloom in their speech, is the example sentence. So I'll be watching for use of the word of the day and for interesting uses of the English language. I'm your grammarian, thank you.
As a general evaluator, I noticed that the grammarian spot was open for today, and I thought it was a very good idea to bring somebody with a hilarious side of things. So that's why Trey is on. Thank you, Trey.
Thank you.
We are going to have the counter and the timer. However, there's a little twist. So the counter is not going to be Amy. The counter is going to be Randy, and vice versa. The timer is not going to be Randy, it's going to be Amy. So let's see, Randy, tell us a little bit about the counter role.
I would be happy to do that. This is the most critical job in Toastmasters. You always feel bad at the end of the day because you're picking on people, or it feels like you're picking on people for their speech. Yet, by learning to not use filler words, to put periods in sentences where they belong, not start sentences with so, and like, you know, but, or, and then, those are the kinds of things I'll be looking for. In addition to the ahs and ums, I will give you a report at the end.
Amy, tell us a little bit about the timer role and the timing for each of the speeches and roles here.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am your timer today. I'm going to do my best to stay focused so I remember to time and tell you when your time is up. I will be keeping track of everybody's time. We have 3 speeches. Amelia's 5 to 7, so I'll turn on the green at 5, yellow at 6, red at 7. I'll do the same for Dependra's speech. And Naga, you are giving your icebreaker.
Yeah.
Yay! So 3 to 5 minutes. The green will come on at 3, the yellow at 4, 4 to 6.
Yeah.
Okay, yep, you're right, thank you. So 4 green, 4.5 for yellow. Oh wait, no, 5 for yellow and 6 for red. Table topics are 1 to 2 minutes. You have to hit the 1 minute mark. You have 30 seconds after to still qualify. So we'll do 1, 1.5, and 2 minutes. And the evaluators are 2 to 3 minutes. So green will be red, or green will be 2 minutes, yellow will be 2.5, red will be 3 minutes. And you have 30 seconds before and after for your speeches and for your evaluation to still qualify. I will give a report at the end. And for those of you, some people may be wondering what's going on with my skin right now. Having a bit of a health thing that I'm dealing with. I'm going to give a speech on it. So I will tell you all about it. So stay tuned.
Having finished here this initial part of the general evaluator, I think I have to march away and just delegate the continuation of the process here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Linda.
Now we have giving her 3rd speech, Amelia Sal, excuse me. Amelia Sal. No, I'm so sorry, I always do it wrong. Amelia is making a great effort to get out of her focus on only our country and look to a country we don't think about often enough, and that's our neighbor to the north. So welcome, Amelia.
All right.
Do you want us to move this? Should we move this?
Yeah, if you want it. I can
Move
use
this.
Just this, like this?
That's fine. Yeah,
Okay.
just give them the most prominent. All right, okay. All right. Greetings. A blind date in 2005. A sales meeting with a lab manager at a local hospital. An awards dinner seated next to my boss's boss. All examples of casual conversations I've had with Canadians which has left me feeling very secure about my lack of knowledge of basic Canadian politics, current events in their area. So today I'm going to take this opportunity. The subject of my speech will be to overcome that insecurity. I'm going to go over basic Canadian politics, government structure, kind of a general overview of the current states of our neighbor up there to the north. So let's get into it. Canadian government 101. Like the US, Canada is a democracy. Although I would maybe challenge democracy-ish, not a full-on democracy, I'll kind of get to that a little later. And a federal state. Federal state meaning multiple layers of government working together in harmony to govern the country, or in theory. Unlike the US, Canada is a constitutional monarchy functioning under a parliamentary system. The constitutional monarchy is ceremonial only. Canada formed as a country under the British Empire in 1867. It was not until 1982 when Canada declared independence from the United Kingdom. But to this day, there remains very warm feeling amongst many Canadians towards the British monarch, and they've decided to continue that relationship. Queen Elizabeth II of Britain is known as Queen of Canada. Though it's only in ceremony, there are quite consistent ceremonial functions which must be executed. So there's a position known as Governor General, which is named by the Prime Minister. And the woman that holds that position now is Julia Payette. She is functioning in Queen Elizabeth's stead. One of the most notable ceremonial responsibilities is every bill before she signs every bill before it passes into law. So now the more interesting part, the parliamentary system. Canada uses the British parliamentary system, kind of natural. The parliament system consists of the House of Commons, which is elected, and the Senate, which is not elected. That's the controversial part. I'll get to that in a second. The House of Commons consists of 338 representatives. They're derived kind of similar to our House of Congress, where it routes back to districts within the provinces. The representatives are known as Ministers of Parliament, or MPs. The party with the most MP seats holds the Prime Minister position. I didn't realize that. I didn't know that the Prime Minister was not directly elected. So currently, Canada's Liberal Party holds the Prime Minister position, and that would be Mr. Trudeau.
Ooh.
Linda is my mentor and suggested that I didn't use visual aids until I got very comfortable with the speaking piece. But I thought we needed to make an exception for Prime Minister Trudeau, right? A man too beautiful to just be known.
Okay, then, whatever.
So you probably recognize him. He has a current love affair going on with the world. He's a pretty notable figure. So outside of the Liberal Party, there are two other relevant parties within Canada, the Conservative Party and the New Democratic Party, or NDP. The Liberal Party and the NDP lean left, Conservative Party leans right. Mr. Trudeau is not the only young rising political star in Canada. Both the NDP and the Conservative Party have recently elected new, young, very dynamic leaders. Jagmeet Singh is the leader of the NDP party. Very dynamic, very progressive. He's had a fast rise through the political ranks there. And it's actually very likely that he might have a shot at Prime Minister. The NDP within the next few years could possibly overthrow the Liberal Party with the most seats. There is a quiet conversation happening now within Canada, and even on the left spectrum. Is Canada ready for their first non-Christian Prime Minister? Jagmeet Singh is of the Sikh religion. He wears a turban, has a beard. Are they ready for that? That's kind of an undercurrent conversation happening. On the other spectrum, the Conservative Party, Andrew Scheer, 38, actually Jagmeet Singh is also 38. He's also very dynamic, very eloquent. I went down the rabbit hole recently of watching YouTube clips of House of Commons debates. Very entertaining. I kind of wish we would adopt some of that. Andrew Scheer just eviscerated Justin Trudeau on a few topics. I could see him rising quickly. Actually, his predecessor, Stephen Harper, also of the Conservative Party, held the Prime Minister seat for 10 years before it went to the Liberal Party. So we could also be hearing more about Jagmeet Singh or Andrew Scheer. So on to the Senate, and a little more controversial and why I said democracy-ish. The Senate is not elected. Those seats are named by the Prime Minister. So that's kind of the controversial part. Also, there are 105 Senate seats. There's no distinct, discernible rhyme or reason to those seats and how they route back to the provinces. There are 105 of them, like I said, and they're kind of divided amongst districts. It's very murky, and I couldn't really articulate how it's divided. For instance, British Columbia has 6 Senate seats, and Newfoundland has 10. British Columbia also obviously exponentially more citizens than Newfoundland. Added to that, there's been some recent scandals. Some senators have found themselves wrapped up in some finance scandals, a few DUIs here and there. So it's hit the news recently. A lot of citizens, should we abolish the Senate? Should we reform it? Should we make it electable? There's no easy answer there. It would all have to go through the Canadian constitutional process, but it is a topic within Canada there. So, as I started to research Canadian politics, very fascinating. I could probably go on a lot longer, but I hope the information that I gave you today kind of whet your appetite. And should you find yourself mingling with a nice couple from Nova Scotia, I hope you feel comfortable asking them a thoughtful question or two on their side of the fence. It will surprise them. They don't expect us to know very much about their politics. So.
There is one good
I
one.
think it's beautiful. He had a good Superman one, and he had a lot of good ones.
Steve, how you doing? I'm all right. I'm worried about you, dude.
May we get a minute for evaluations, please? You guys are welcome to write